If you're in real estate, you absolutely know the feeling, right? That phone that never stops buzzing, the constant pressure to be on 24/7, and that feeling like you're just running as fast as you can to stay in the exact same place. But what if you could do more than just survive the grind? What if you could actually get ahead of it and really change the rules of the game? Well, let's break down exactly how you can do that.
Let's start with a number that should honestly stop every single one of us in our tracks. 80%. That's how many new real estate agents burn out and leave the industry entirely within their first 2 years. And, this isn't just a statistic on a page, it's a quiet crisis that's happening in brokerages and home offices everywhere, every single day.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We have to understand that burnout isn't some kind of personal failing or lack of trying hard enough. It's a systemic problem. It's an invisible epidemic that's woven right into the fabric of the industry. And it's costing incredibly talented people their passion, their careers, and frankly, their peace of mind.
So let's get real for a second about what this whole hustle culture is actually costing you. We're not just talking about long hours here. We're talking about the deep mental and emotional toll that it takes on you, the professional, day in and day out.
Do any of these sound a little too familiar? I mean, this isn't just being tired. It's that bone-deep exhaustion where a full weekend of sleep doesn't even make a dent. It's when that joy you used to feel helping a family find their dream home gets replaced with just a cynical sigh. And that decision fatigue? Oh, it's so real. Every single text, every email, every tiny negotiation, it all just chips away at your ability to make the big, important calls.
And this is where it gets really tricky, right? On one hand, you have the always-on trap. You get that text at 9 p.m., and you just know in your gut if you don't reply right this second, that lead is going to be gone by morning. But on the other hand, there's what you actually need to be a top-tier professional: space, the ability to disconnect, to think strategically, to recharge so you can bring your A game. These two things are in a constant, daily battle with each other. Okay, so the personal cost is devastating. We get that. But the impact doesn't stop there. This burnout culture has a direct and often totally hidden financial cost to your business. Think of it like this. It creates these tiny little cracks in your operations. And, over time, those small leaks can absolutely sink a very big ship. So what does that hidden cost actually look like in dollars and cents? Well, here it is. Research shows that real estate businesses lose between 3 and 7% of their annual revenue just from simple operational slip-ups. Now, just pause and think about that for a second. For a decent-sized business, that could be tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars just poof, vanishing into thin air every single year. So where's all this money going? Well, it's in the thousand tiny cuts. It's the late fees you just forgot to chase down. It's a 2-day delay getting a lease signed, which means that property is just sitting there, empty, not earning a dime. And how about that single typo in a contract? The average cost to fix it is almost $3,000. That's an entire marketing campaign for your next listing. Just gone. These aren't just made-up scenarios. They're the real documented costs of trying to do everything yourself.
And just when you think the internal pressure is enough, the game itself has completely changed. Today's clients, they show up armed with data. They expect instant answers, total transparency. You're not just an agent anymore. Oh no, you're a data analyst, a project manager, and a 24/7 concierge, all while constantly having to justify your value.
Okay, I know, that all sounds pretty overwhelming. But here's where we turn the corner. Here's the good news. The solution isn't to just hustle harder or work even longer hours. That's just a one-way ticket to faster burnout. The real solution is to completely redesign how you work. It's finally about working smarter, not harder. So this is the big question. You've got to ask yourself. You know the 80-20 rule, right? So much of your day is spent on that 80%. The admin stuff, the repetitive tasks that just drain your energy but don't actually close deals. But what if you could just hand all of that off? What if you could dedicate your time, your energy, your talent to the 20% that truly matters, building relationships, negotiating offers, and strategically growing your business? And that is exactly where a real estate virtual assistant, or a VA, comes into the picture. And let's be super clear here. This is not just an admin. This is a skilled, remote professional who basically acts as the operational engine for your business. They manage the systems, they handle all the details, they plug those revenue leaks we talked about, and they give you back your single, most precious, non-renewable asset, your time. Let me paint a picture for you of what this transformation really looks like. So it's 10 p.m.,
A new lead comes in. Instead of you having to pause your family movie night to scramble for a reply, your VA is already on it. They send an instant, professional response, they qualify the lead, and they book a follow-up directly into your calendar for the next morning. So you wake up, not to a missed opportunity, but to a warm, qualified lead that's ready for a real conversation. That's not just a small change, my friends. That is a total game changer.
But look, I know this all sounds great in theory. The real question is, does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's take a look at a few examples of how this approach is already transforming businesses for the better.
All right, so take this team down in Miami. They were literally drowning in listing prep. It was this multi-hour headache for every single new property. So a VA came in and streamlined the entire process. They started drafting the packets and setting up automated reminders for all the deadlines, and the result? They took a 3-hour task and slashed it to under 30 minutes. And they almost completely eliminated any missed deadlines. How amazing is that?
Or how about this brokerage in Chicago? Their transaction coordinators were just getting totally burned out from manually pulling dates from contracts all day. A VA came in and set up a system to automate the whole thing, creating these shared, always updated timelines. That single move cut the time their coordinators spent per file by a third. And maybe the best part of all, it killed those constant, time-sucking what's the status emails.
And one more for you from Austin. There was an agent who knew, they were losing leads because they couldn't respond fast enough. So they gave a VA one simple mission: engage every single online inquiry within what's called the 5-minute trust window. By making sure that every lead got an immediate professional first touch point, their lead conversion rate shot up and their client satisfaction went right up with it. So when you pull all this together, you see the impact is, well, it's holistic. It isn't just one thing. It's massive time savings that you can then reinvest in actually growing your business. It's real cost reduction from plugging all those silent leaks. It's measurable revenue growth because you're finally focused on dollar productive activities. And maybe the most important piece of this whole puzzle, it's a profound, tangible reduction in your daily stress.
You know, I love this quote because it tackles the number one fear people have head on. This is not about technology replacing people, not at all. It's about technology freeing people. Real estate is and it always will be a human business built on trust and relationships. A virtual assistant just clears away all the clutter so you have more time and more energy for that essential human part to really shine. And that brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation, which is your path forward. How do you take these ideas and turn them into not just a better business, but honestly, a better life? This is the question you really have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest. Today's market rewards two things above everything else: speed and service. And when you're stuck in that administrative quicksand, you simply cannot deliver on either one. The real cost of doing everything yourself isn't just your time. It's your entire competitive edge. So, at the end of the day, this is the choice. You can keep drowning in that 80% of busy work, or you can delegate it and finally get back to the work you're truly passionate about, the work that builds relationships and grows your bottom line. If you are ready to trade the grind for real growth, then it's time to explore a new way of working. It's time to reclaim your time, rediscover your passion, and see what's truly possible when you have the right support in your corner. Virtual Nexgen Solutions can help you build that future. Reach out to them and let's start a conversation about what your transformed business could really look like.